The fourth Samayalas of the Satyarth Prakash functions as a highly specific sociological and biological engineering manual for the householder life, or Grihastha Ashrama. Written in the 19th century, this text systematically strips away centuries of medieval orthodox tradition. It replaces blind faith with a system of rationalism governed by strict biological rules. To execute this, the author, Maharishi Dayanand Saraswati, utilizes specific linguistic interpretations of root texts like the Manusmriti and the Shatapatha Brahmana. He uses these ancient authorities to justify a radical, calculated reorganization of Hindu society. The manual dictates a precise trajectory for human life, setting non-negotiable prerequisites for marriage, redefining the Varna system, and optimizing the mechanics of reproduction and civic obligation. This approach represents a systematic overhaul of human existence, attempting to build a perfectly optimized society from the ground up by reclaiming scriptural authority. Entry into the householder stage requires the strict completion of Brahmacharya, a period of celibate study dedicated entirely to the acquisition of advanced knowledge. The text establishes a rigid exogamy principle for partner selection. A spouse must not share the father's gotra, or lineage, and they must be separated from the mother's line by at least 6 generations. This distance is biologically and psychologically calculated. It aims to prevent childhood familiarity from eroding romantic attraction, and to avoid genetic stagnation, comparing close marriages to mixing water with water. It seeks to enhance genetic qualities, like adding sugar to milk, while capturing the physiological benefits of moving to a different climate. Furthermore, it aims to mitigate the friction of proximity and increase the economic advantage of acquiring distant goods. It honors the etymology of duhita, for daughter, which implies bringing benefit to distant lands, and ensures a wife does not immediately rely on her paternal home during minor marital disputes. The manual identifies 10 specific family types forbidden for marriage. These include families lacking good actions, those devoid of noble men, or those ignorant of the Vedas, as well as families exhibiting hereditary afflictions like tuberculosis, asthma, epilepsy, and leprosy. It also outlines physical traits to avoid in a bride. A man is instructed not to marry a woman who is diseased, talkative, or physically larger and stronger than him. He must also avoid women named after constellations, trees, rivers, or those with terrifying names. Conversely, the ideal candidate possesses symmetrical limbs, a pleasant name, a graceful walk, and fine physical features. Age requirements are exact. The absolute minimum age for a woman to marry is 16, ideally up to 24. For a man, the absolute minimum is 25, extending up to 48. This directly refutes contemporary Orthodox scriptures, which mandated child marriage by labeling a girl Gauri at age 8 and Rohini at 9. The text argues that early conception results in severe biological failure, fetal death, weak offspring, and shortened parental lifespans. To facilitate adult unions, the text advocates a Swayamvara method. Teachers exchange photographs and biographical histories. If the backgrounds align, the process culminates in mutual consent and a rigorous public debate between the prospective bride and groom. Marriages are categorized into 8 hierarchies. Brahma is the highest, followed by Deva, Arsha, and Prajapatya. The final 4, Asura, Gandharva, Rakshasa, and Paishacha, are categorized as degraded or corrupt. In this system, marriage is a highly calculated, consensual merger of genetics and intellect. The text applies this same rigorous logic to social order, dictating that Varna is based exclusively on a person's qualities, actions, and temperament. It rejects birth-based caste by citing ancient figures like Vishwamitra and Matanga, who changed their social standing through merit. The Satyarth Prakash argues that because the Supreme Being is formless, the bodily origins described in the Purusha Sukta are strictly metaphorical. The mouth represents the intellect, or the Brahman. The arms represent strength, the Kshatriya. The thighs represent mobility and commerce, the Vaishya. And the feet represent the foundational labor of society, the Shudra. This matrix is fluid. Righteous actions and education elevate a person to a higher Varna, while ignorance and unrighteousness demote them. Each Varna has explicit duties. A Brahman's 15 duties include teaching, studying, and notably the mastery of applied scientific knowledge, or Vijnana. A kshatriya's 11 duties include impartial protection of the public, administrative cleverness, and a commitment to never flee from battle. The Vaishya focuses on trade, agriculture, and the strict regulation of interest rates, which are prohibited from exceeding double the principal. Finally, the Shudra is assigned to serve the other 3 Varnas. This role is assigned strictly to those who lack the academic aptitude for intellectual or administrative tasks. By decoupling social status from lineage and tying it to demonstrable skill, the Varna framework creates a fluid sorting mechanism designed for maximum efficiency. This structural rejection of birth-based identity provided a scriptural basis for later movements to challenge hereditary hierarchy. Reproduction is governed by highly specific protocols. Conception requires peak physical health and specific breathing techniques to optimize reproductive material. Once pregnancy is confirmed, the text enforces a strict 1-year cessation of sexual contact to ensure optimal fetal development and protect parental lifespans. Prenatal care includes specific dietary guidelines, consuming ghee, milk, and wheat, while avoiding purgatives and intoxicants. Postnatal protocols include specific techniques for tying and cutting the umbilical cord to prevent blood loss, and the administration of restoratives for the mother. During the infant naming ritual, the father whispers Vedo Asi, meaning you are the Veda, and traces on the infant's tongue with a gold needle. The mother provides milk for 6 days before a highly nourished wet nurse takes over, allowing the mother to return immediately to household oversight. Familial prosperity relies entirely on the mutual satisfaction and partnership of the husband and wife. The wife is assigned explicit administrative control of the estate, including budget accounting, managing staff, and acquiring diverse global skills. Communication rules are strict. Spouses must speak the truth pleasantly, avoid harsh truths, and abstain entirely from baseless disputes. The household operates as a tightly regulated biological and economic incubator, reliant on scientific protocols and administrative female empowerment. The daily schedule begins in the 4th watch of the night, or Brahma Muhurta, dedicated to meditation on Dharma and physical health. This begins the 5 daily duties, or Pancha Mahayajnas. The first, Brahma Yagya, involves the twice-daily practice of teaching, studying, and meditation at the transitions of day and night. The second is Deva Yagya, centered around the Agnihotra, or fire ritual. The text assigns it a mechanical purpose. Morning and evening offerings purify the air for the community. The third is Pitri Yagya, which the text redefines as actions done with truth and actions that satisfy. It rejects the practice of offering food to the dead, redefining this yagya as the care and service of living parents, teachers, and scholars. The fourth is Vaishvadeva, a daily social welfare tax, where householders distribute food to outcasts, the sick, and animals. The fifth is Atithi Yagya, the hosting of atithis, defined as righteous, itinerant scholars traveling to impart knowledge. The manual warns against supporting pakandis, or hypocrites, noting that supporting deceptive practitioners ruins society by spreading ignorance. Across all 5 yajnas, mystical appeasements are replaced with practical, civic, and environmental actions designed to sustain the living community. These rules for marriage, Varna, reproduction, and daily duties function as a single sociological machine. Utilizing Vedic authority, the text overrides centuries of medieval Orthodox tradition. It enforces genetic diversity, demands physical maturity, sorts social roles by merit, and converts religious rituals into civic duties. The fourth Samulas provides an engineered blueprint for an entire civilization, using Vedic authority to restructure the fundamental units of society. It is a rigid, optimized framework designed to build an intellectually and biologically superior society from first principles.